So in this video, we're going to turn our 4-thread overlock setting on our M343D brother, and it's set to its defaults at the moment, so it's all on tension of 4. The stitch length is on 3, the differential feed's on 1, and so is the knife setting on its default at 5. So it's a 4-thread overlock at the moment. I want to convert it so that I get a beautiful rolled hem on my chiffon. So it's not been done yet, but let's get started. I've got a beautiful 4-thread overlock. I've set my upper looper thread to pink, and you'll see there I've got a pink thread on the upper looper and a white on the lower. We are going to convert the machine so that it's a narrow hem. So we're going to move the left hand needle using the Allen key. Leave my thread in there, and it's a clever trick somebody taught me. Let's go lefty loosey and pull that needle down. And I don't lose it underneath there because it's got the thread trapped in there. So let's take that thread out. I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to cut it up here. And then just pull the thread through. Lift up the presser feet so you release the tension discs, and that's the thread out. So we can remove that needle now and put it somewhere safe. So now we need to remove the second needle. The reason we're going to remove the second needle is so that we choose the right needle for the work. You can use a standard 70 needle. Now I like this make. You can buy the overlock needles. They are slightly longer, but they affect the timing. But these are a selection of 80 to 90. Now that's too thick for chiffon. So I've bought myself some Schmetz needles. They're just a universal needle, so they still the shaft is still thick, but it's a size 60, so it will pierce through my chiffon nicely. Let's remove that needle first. So left turn. Let's remove that. Press the foot down so we can get to it. Now I'm not going to cut too much of that thread because I need that thread. Let's get our new needle. Now, if you're worried about dropping that needle underneath there, which sometimes I do fear, just grab a piece of cloth and just place it under the foot. So let's move that knife out of the way. And just place it there, and you can just get yourself, that's the knife lifting up. You can get to your hole. In and just tighten that up. Okay, and let's just get rid of this piece of fabric now. So we've got what you do is you slide it between the knife and the foot and then push it to the back of the machine. So you've got 3 threads there now. What we need to do is go inside the machine, and we need to move the finger that's here. So that's your finger attachment there. So if I just literally just pull it out there, and that's it. So this part of the finger acts like part of the table. So it allows my overlock to stay level on that area of the table where there's gaps for the knife. Okay, so let's pop that away safely. So we have this setting here on the machine which gives us different settings for the knife movement. So the default is 5 anyway, so, and it's got the R. That R stands for rolled hem. So this knife will change, so watch what happens if I adjust that. Can you see that knife moving there? If I do it slightly to the side, you can see the shape of the knife there, and it just adjusts to where we need it. So we don't need to be as high as 7. We want to keep our narrow hem very narrow, so we're going to keep it at 5. So now that's 3 settings. So we've changed the needle, we've moved the finger, we've got our knife setting at 5. I'm going to change my setting of 4 up to, oh, wrong way, up to 7. So it'll be written in your manual, but the idea and the reason why you're doing that is because you're pulling at that fabric. So we want this fabric laid flat and we want it to be pulled round. So without that finger, it's going to fall to the side anyway. But now what we want to do is give it a pull so that it will pull round and it will form the loops on top and underneath this rolled hem. Okay, so that's why we increased that to 7. So now we've got the finger changed, we've got the needle removed, we've got the knife adjusted, the finger out, tension tighter. The next thing we do is the stitch length. The stitch length is how far apart the stitches are. So on this, I've used a standard 3. But if I do actually go to a very tight rolled hem, they are there. So they're very close together there on the R, which is about 1. But here, they're at a 3. So you decide how far apart you want this. If you're going to use a decorative thread, then you might want to have it close together further apart. It depends on the effect you're after. Well, let's move it to 2. But the final adjustment is a differential feed. Now the differential feed varies on your fabric. You don't need to change that at all. But because we are using a fine fabric, we don't want to cause any puckering. Hopefully we won't get much puckering because we've used a fine needle, but we're going to reduce it down to 0.7. So that's the furthest it goes. So we're going to reduce it down to 0.7. So a quick recap. We've taken away the finger, and for it to roll under, we've tightened the tension to pull it away. So that's the lower looper tension. We also then brought the knife close to the overlocker table. So that was at its smallest width of 5. Reduce the stitch length to R. I prefer mine on 2 or 3, but you decide what looks best for your project, and then reduce the differential feed to 0.7. So once your machine is set up for rolled hem, make sure you have a piece of fabric from the project that you're going to be working on. Use that as a sample piece to make sure that the width of the rolled hem is adequate. If not, change the knife. Make sure the stitch length is going to be holding in the frayed edges and that it looks attractive enough for you. Change your lower looper thread or your upper looper thread to a colour that matches your fabric. Also, make sure that you relax and enjoy. I found a lot of students who struggle are because they're too tense and worry too much about getting things wrong. Just enjoy sewing. Let me know below if this has helped. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.